Hello, my name's Paul,
Hi, my name's Rachel.
and we are the English Language Lab, and this is our business English podcast, BizPod.
We're going to try to teach you everything you need to know about business English.
So, whether you need English for job hunting, presentations, meetings, or any other form of communication, you have come to the right place.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy BizPod. Hi, Paul.
Hi Rachel, how are you today?
I'm good. I understand you have a very interesting topic for us to discuss today.
Well, I hope so. Before we start, I've got a quote from Dale Carnegie for you. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
That sounds rather serious.
Why? Why do you think it sounds serious?
Condemn. Condemned to death. Condemned to die.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that word sort of comes when Dale Carnegie wrote his original book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was probably 100 years ago?
No, 1936, if you want to know exactly.
Okay, so not quite 100 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but perhaps the word condemn was more common
Mm-hmm.
in those times. I don't know.
I think vocabulary, in olden years was probably a little bit more black and white. But that's from our perspective of us now looking back. I mean, at the time, maybe not, but I just think maybe they're a little bit more frank, whereas now we tend to say too much, describe things in too much detail. It's like, oh, shut up. I've got a question for you. Is it Dale Carnegie or Carnegie?
That's a good question. I don't know the pronunciation of his surname. I think Carnegie.
Okay, I would say Carnegie.
Okay. Well, we'll have to investigate his pronunciation. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to look that one up. Okay.
Well, so quote from Dale Carnegie or Carnegie.
Or just Dale.
Well, yeah, let's just call him Dale. Yeah. Best mate. Us and Dale, best mates. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. What do you think he meant by that?
That you should never say anything negative about somebody else. You should try to understand them better and why they're saying what they're saying rather than immediately jump in and slam them down.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe that's what he meant.
What would you say? You've read the book.
Yeah, I've read the book a few times over many, many years. Yeah. Well, I think his idea or his theories, which were probably true then and are still true today, is that if you criticize somebody for something they've done or said, generally people tend to feel very defensive about being criticized.
Yeah, absolutely.
And try and justify what they have done or what they've said. And I think that's a very natural thing. If I'm criticized, my immediate sort of first thought is, what have I done wrong?
Yeah. Or who are you to criticize me?
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
But how does that translate in the workplace? If we're talking about business English, how understanding this quote does it help people? What advice are we giving people?
Well, criticism, I think, is going to demotivate people.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to motivate. It's going to demotivate in the workplace.
Yeah.
So instead, I think you have to learn to look for the things that you can praise people for instead of looking for the things that you can criticize.
Yeah. Or maybe to frame any negative around some positive or within some positive. Approach the negative from a different point of view in okay, I see you doing it like this. Have you thought about trying this? Do you think there are any benefits of us perhaps taking a different approach? Let's reimagine it.
So I think sort of, finding something positive to say, like you said, now I've seen you doing this and that's a good idea, but have you tried this? So finding the positive element in what someone's done or said, as the approach to take.
I would correct what you just said there, because I wouldn't actually use but. I would say, however, although, alternatively.
I agree with you. Yeah, the word but automatically means that the thing I just said the nice positive thing I just said wasn't the real thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's exactly just an excuse.
Yeah. That's me buttering you up, smoothing the way. Yeah.
Okay.
But certainly phrases like, well done for all of your hard work so far.
Yeah, I really
Uh,
appreciate all the effort you've put in.
yeah. Thanks for giving it your best shot.
Yes.
They are very, very positive ways to start your approach with somebody, to butter them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you dig the knife in.
Okay.
But I think the way I would probably go about addressing, say, a criticism in that sense is you look for the positive, you state the positive, and then instead of jumping straight to the negative, perhaps you jump into some questions.
Oh, such as?
Well, why did you choose to do it that way? Have you thought about this? Ask people questions about possible issues or problems. Like, what problems did you encounter during the project?
What did you learn from this?
Did you need any extra resources?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're the kind of questions that are probing reasons for perhaps someone not achieving or doing what you thought they should have done.
Yeah. Or even ask people when they present something, if you absolutely hate it, say, well, what do you think about this? What do you think could be the issues here? What is another way that you could have perhaps done this? You just turn it back so they have to reflect themselves and then analyze it themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And then I think you have to follow that with honest and sincere appreciation for work that people have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they may not have achieved what you hoped they were achieving. They may have said or done something that you think is bad or, but I think you have to start positively, ask those probing questions, and then, just be honest with somebody, and show your appreciation for who they are and what they've done.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
I think the alternative is that if you just criticize somebody directly, they're going to resent you for that.
Yes. And resentment undermines motivation, affects the team, productivity goes down. Yeah, it's just not good. And to be honest, if they're doing that bad, really, you should pull them into a performance review. You should be taking them down the disciplinary route. So, okay. So criticize, condemn, and now let's touch on complain. Okay.
Okay.
I have a problem with complain because I think some people see it as a hobby.
Complaining is a hobby.
I have absolutely zero amount of time to give people who have that attitude, because you're wasting your time or you're wasting mine. If you've really got that much of a problem with something, then you need to, excuse my phrase, but get off your fat ass and do something about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I have quite strong feelings. I used to work as a manager with a team, and certain members of that team, I won't say who, I think it was their life's ambition to complain from the first moment they opened their mouth in the morning to the last thing they said before they went to sleep. And I was just like, go away.
Yeah. Well, I think some people have perhaps sort of quite sort of negative outlooks on life and work, and maybe they are the kind of people who look at the negatives and complain about them rather than looking at the positives.
But as a manager, when you meet people like that, first of all, you try to understand them. You try to see if there's anything you can do to help them, to encourage them to be more positive, to make things easier for them, to, you do what, and then you understand, you go down this path, and then you understand, no, they're just complaining for complaining's sake. And it's just like, step back, walk away. That person is not going to change their mind. They are not going to try and change the situation because they're actually enjoying complaining.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, what a life to lead. When you're dead, or what was so and so like, well, they used to complain all the time.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I think maybe especially in sort of professional business situations, people who complain the most,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps they're doing it to get some sort of recognition that perhaps they think is lacking. Um,
Attention, yeah, okay.
yeah, it could be for the attention. Yeah, it could be for many, many reasons.
But I don't
Um,
I don't think they're going to get, if it is for attention, I don't think they're going to get the kind of attention they're looking for. They're not going to get any like, oh, well done, you. Thank you for highlighting. They need to understand that, yes, like, managers should not complain about staff, but staff need to understand they're not going to be received well if they are the negative voice in the team.
yeah. Although I can imagine there are certain circumstances
Mm-hmm.
where perhaps the boss would just want to perhaps get rid of somebody who they see as a negative
Oh,
influence
absolutely.
and just promote them
Yeah.
to,
Yeah. Pass them on up to somebody else.
yeah, so that that person, that complaining attitude becomes somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see that happening. I can imagine that happening in a lot of instances.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
in the UK, I think it depends on employment law. In the
Yeah.
UK, it's very, very difficult to actually get rid of somebody, isn't it? You've got to go down so many paths. You've got to have a valid reason. And it's even worse if the unions are involved, which is understandable because it's to protect employees. So the easiest thing, if somebody's got somebody in their team that they don't like, is promote them up and out,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is not
You know,
right.
no, but that complaining attitude could be a positive thing in that sense.
Do you think that's what happened to Boris? He got promoted upwards because he annoyed everybody in politics.
Well, if it wasn't what happened to Boris, it was certainly what happened to Liz Truss. I think Liz Truss was definitely promoted at least one level above her competence when she became the
Yeah.
prime minister.
Okay.
Quite a few levels, maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a very good analysis. And I think people need to take that away, that you shouldn't criticize, condemn, or complain.
Okay. I'll
All
see you
right.
next time.
Thank you. I'll think on that. Bye.
Bye.